Okay, let's try this, see if we can make it work. You're going to be receiving a Ceres Solutions Intros and Outros zip folder. This is what we're going to be working out of. So right away you'll want to unzip it. And so right click and then say, for me, it's ZZip, extract here, but there's other ways you can open a zip folder. I'm not sure why I'm getting that, but I'm going to say yes to all. And I'm going to unzip it. So what's inside of it is all the elements that you need for the intros and outros, like footage and graphics and the Premiere file. So it's all self-contained. I have to zip it in order to get it to you, but once you have it and you're unzipping it like I'm doing it, then it's all living within inside one folder and easy to work from. And you could copy paste this folder every time in order to do your next project. That's kind of how I do some of the work I do. So there it is as a regular folder. So inside of that there's some folders you're going to see. Exports is just the intro and the outro video file. So if you want to use those as video files, there they are. And then inside of footage is just some of the drone stuff I needed in order to make those. The graphics is some of what you sent me plus some lower third that I created. And then there I put your music in there, and then of course you're going to want to work out of the Premiere file. So the intro outro, I think this is just a duplicate copy backup thing. So you're going to want to work with intro-outro. Double click that and open it. So this is going to be the template Premiere file that I've created, and I'm going to walk you through that of what I think you'll be able to use it for, how to be able to use it anyway. So I don't know if it'll open it in your editor view in CS 5.5 or whatever your default is. I made it in CS 5.5 as far as the editor view, so under Window, Workspaces, Editing CS 5.5. That's just the view I prefer to look at when I'm editing, so in case yours looks different and you want to get it towards mine and to make it look similar, that might be the way to do it. So let's walk through this really quick. There you go. There's some of the folders related to what I just showed you. No, only on this time they live inside of Premiere. And then let's walk through some of the structure of what I've got going on down here. So as an intro, I've created one, and then I did what's called nesting, if you're familiar with that at all. So let's take a look at it to start with. So this all plays as looks like a single clip, and what it is it's multiple things going on that you can see in this sequence right here under intro. And so you'll want to click into this so that you can change name of episode, of course. So if you click on that and then get your text tool and come up here and just do that, then you can change the name just like that. And then if you come back to your editor sequence, your main sequence, you'll see that it is updated there. So the other way to get to that would just be double click that, and then you can see it here, and it's your very top one that's your title that you'll want to come in and change. So again, you just click on it, get your text tool, come up and highlight your text and change that name. So that should be pretty easy for you. So all of that lives within inside of this single file looking thing. And then the other thing I did was I wanted to make sure you had this little graphic that's always the layover, bottom left. Line that up to where it's just after that video's done, and then there it would come on like that. You could have it fade in. I guess you could drag this out and then add a cross dissolve and have it kind of fade in as your video's fading in. It's just all preference stuff for you. So, but I just kind of left it there so that you can drag it to as long as your video is, and it'll always be there. So if you have a 3-minute video, 4-minute video, whatever, you drag it all the way out. So it just lives up there on that top layer in order to do so. I'll show you a little bit about how I brought this footage in. You'll notice that you'll hear Troy start talking before we see him, and that's some of that audio crossover that I was talking about. So I just have slid this video underneath far enough to where he starts talking as that music's fading out. So you could start yours wherever. Just a little bit more of a transitional that way. So then I just have a dip to black over the top of that, so it'll come to black and then it'll come up to your subject. So that's just by sliding that under, and I'm on audio 1 and audio 2 for your video footage. So when you go to do your editor, you'd put it right in there, your footage. Let's talk about this lower third a little bit, see if you like it or not. Let's take a look at it.
Here with your agronomic insights. In 2018, Ceres.
So it's animated, as you can see, and I just animated that inside of Premiere. So this is a Photoshop file. So first of all, I'll show you how I animated it. So if I click on it, I'm going to slide this box out of the way for now. Under position, you can see that it's toggled on, and I did all my animation and opacity and those things here in case you would want to change it. So just made it come in and then go out. That's just all of that. So if you would want to adjust, you can. So let's talk about if you want to, obviously you're going to want to change the name of that and people's titles. So the way you would do that is you have Premiere, so this should, or you have Photoshop, so this should show up like it does for me. When you click on that, that was a left click. Now I'm going to right click and I'm going to do Edit in Adobe Photoshop. So what that should do, it's probably just back behind there, yeah. It should launch Photoshop and bring this template into Photoshop for you. And all you should have to do in order to change this name, I left some of these layers, but you don't really need them. Really, you just want to focus on their name and their title. So if I double click on that T right there, I can type my name in as an example, and I'm holding Shift to give myself all caps in this font. This font is Calibri, if in case you don't have it, but you can choose any font, obviously, whatever. This is just what I've chosen to set it up with. And then of course that's not all caps, but my name's maybe just a little bit big, so I can come back here, I can click on that layer, and I can hold Control and then hit T, and I'm going to get that little box that goes around, and all I have to do is come to this corner, click and drag, and I can adjust that size. So if I want to adjust that down to fit a little better, now I can hit Enter, and I can use my arrow keys to position that wherever I'd want. So again, with title, Control T, grab a corner, move it, hit Enter, arrow keys to reposition if you'd want it centered. Now, to get that into Premiere, Control S. That will save it. So you're saving over this template. And then if you come back to Premiere, it should auto update. So sometimes it takes a second. There it went. Auto updated. So there's my name. And it's pretty much good to go. If you want more detail on that, I'd be glad to explain, but it should be as simple as that for you. To get an animated graphic, you just change it out for every person using this template. So I can hit Control Z several times until I get Troy's name back there, and then hit Control S, and that'll save. And as you can see, I come back and I will get Troy auto updated. So that's getting that lower third in. Then you do all your edit, of course, and then this outro would be out here ready for you. So what you might want to do is, again, I'm using the minus key to zoom out of the timeline and the plus key to zoom into the timeline in case you didn't know about that feature. So in order to move this, these unfortunately aren't linked, and I could not figure out how to get them linked. So they're individual, so if you take off dragging one, it's going to not drag the audio. So just click above it and highlight both of them, and then drag this way out. Do all your edit inside of here, and then wherever you end up being done with the footage, just come and bring it all the way back. Now what I would do is have it just go right over the top, probably until that dip to black lines up with the very end of your clip or somewhere close, because again it's kind of that audio crossover. So that's just going to add a little bit more of a transition. He's still talking as we're starting to go out. And then this outro is nested just as the intro would be. So same concept where you'd come to outro, episode title name, click on your text, come up here, type it in, come back to your editor sequence. You can see that it updates, and there you go. So here's your intros and outros with your edit in between. Hopefully that makes sense. Got your stuff all figured out for you. If not, let me know and I'll try to explain it better. But that's how I do it anyway.